Let's start with a truth that surprises a lot of people. Some of the habits that make you feel different or even out of place aren't flaws. In fact, psychology suggests they may be signs that your brain is operating at a higher level. These aren't obvious indicators like test scores or degrees. They're subtle, everyday behaviors that most people misunderstand. So let's count them down. Number 10, you genuinely enjoy being alone. While others recharge at parties or crowded events, you feel mentally drained by them. But give you a quiet evening and suddenly your mind feels clear, sharp, and strangely productive. This isn't antisocial behavior. It's what you might call cognitive economics. Highly intelligent brains are constantly processing information. In social settings, your mind is working overtime, reading facial expressions, tracking tone, following multiple conversations. That level of mental activity is exhausting. Solitude, on the other hand, gives your brain space to shift into what psychologists call the default mode network. This is when your mind wanders, reflects, and connects ideas in the background. It's why your best insights often appear in the shower or late at night when no one's around. Choosing a quiet night in isn't avoidance. It's optimization. Number 9, your space looks messy, but you know exactly where everything is. Your desk might look like a disaster zone. Papers everywhere, books stacked at odd angles, yet somehow you can locate a specific note in seconds. That's not chaos. It's a system. Studies have found that people working in cluttered environments often produce more creative and original ideas than those in perfectly tidy spaces. The key here is organized chaos. Your brain prioritizes ideas over appearances. Instead of wasting energy maintaining visual order, it focuses on making connections and solving problems. To an outsider, it looks disorganized. To your brain, everything is exactly where it needs to be. Number 8, you overthink everything. A simple decision like which cereal to buy turns into a full mental investigation. You're weighing nutrition, price, ingredients, even the environmental impact of the box. To others, it looks exhausting. To your brain, it's normal. Overthinking has a bad reputation, but cognitively, it's a sign of advanced processing. Instead of relying on gut reactions, your mind runs simulations. It tests different outcomes and tries to predict consequences. Neuroscience shows people who do this tend to have higher activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area for complex reasoning. So you're not indecisive, you're thorough. And there's a hidden advantage. Overthinkers learn faster from mistakes because they've already replayed the scenarios, analyzed what went wrong, and adjusted for next time. Number 7, you can't stand small talk. How's the weather? Busy week? And then an awkward silence. If conversations like this feel painfully empty, you're not broken. Intelligent minds crave meaning. While small talk just skims the surface, your brain naturally looks for depth, for patterns, ideas, and insight. Casual chatter can feel like driving a high-performance car in heavy traffic. You're not being rude or aloof. Your mind simply gets more stimulation from substance than from social rituals. Research shows people with higher intelligence prefer conversations that challenge their thinking. Instead of forcing it, many instinctively redirect conversations towards something meaningful. One thoughtful question can transform empty chatter into a real connection. So these habits, the need for solitude, the creative mess, the deep analysis, they aren't signs that you're out of sync. They might just be signs that your mind is hungry, processing the world on a different level. You're in a meeting, but you're not really there. Your mind is somewhere else entirely, replaying a conversation, sketching out a future project, or suddenly connecting two ideas you weren't even consciously thinking about. To others, you look distracted, but your brain is actually buzzing with activity. This is the world of the daydreamer. When your mind wanders, it's not shutting down, it's switching on. It activates something called the default mode network, a system linked to high-level thinking and creativity. Think of it as your brain's background processing. It's sifting through memories, running silent simulations, and stress testing ideas without your direct command.
Many of history's greatest breakthroughs didn't happen at a desk. They arrived during a quiet walk, a long train ride, or a moment of so-called boredom. Those sudden aha moments that feel like they come from nowhere, they're the final product of all that unseen mental work finally breaking through to the surface. This rich inner world has a cost, though. It runs on energy, cognitive and emotional energy. And that might explain another habit, being extremely selective about your friends. You don't need a huge circle. In fact, a few close, deep relationships feel more than enough. This isn't a social weakness. It's intentional social design.
Maintaining relationships takes effort, and intelligent people often invest that energy where the return is greatest. Research consistently shows that people with higher cognitive ability report more happiness with fewer, deeper friendships. They crave conversations that challenge them, that offer genuine understanding, not just pleasantries. Spreading your attention thinly across dozens of casual connections feels draining. One meaningful, stimulating conversation can be more rewarding than an entire party full of small talk. It's not isolation, it's a carefully curated social life. This same internal focus shows up in other ways. Picture this. You make a joke, a clever bit of wordplay, a subtle connection. The room is silent. But 5 minutes later, you're still quietly amused. Awkward? Maybe for a moment, but psychologically, it points to a powerful trait: independent thinking. You don't rely on immediate social validation to decide what's funny. That confidence comes from a strong internal judgment system. You see the layered meaning, the unexpected twist, even if others don't. You're operating on a different wavelength. This ability to maintain your own evaluation, even under social pressure, is a hallmark of critical thinking.
And there's a resilience to it. When your self-worth isn't outsourced to the room, you're comfortable with the occasional awkward silence. It's not social failure, it's self-trust. This independent, pattern-seeking mind needs fuel, and that fuel is a relentless curiosity. It starts simply. You open your laptop to check one small fact. An hour later, you're deep in a rabbit hole of documentaries about ancient civilizations or the bizarre ecosystems of deep-sea trenches. This isn't a lack of focus. It's intellectual hunger. Curiosity is one of the most powerful drivers of intelligence. When you follow a thread of interest, your brain releases dopamine, which supercharges learning and memory. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory maker, becomes more active. Those late-night research spirals aren't wasted time. They are mental cross-training. You're teaching your brain to think divergently, to question assumptions, and to connect seemingly unrelated ideas. These habits, the daydreaming, the small circle, the private joke, the endless questions, they aren't random quirks. They are the fingerprints of a mind that is always working, always connecting, and always building a world richer than the one seen on the surface.
Perfect. Another meeting that could have been an email. If a thought like that forms instantly in your mind, it's not just you being cynical. It's your brain running a high-speed, complex program. Sarcasm is mentally demanding. You have to process what's literally said, flip it to its opposite, and then run a rapid-fire social calculation to see if the comment will actually land. It's a workout for your abstract reasoning, and research links it to higher creativity. If you instinctively know when to deploy it, your mind is decoding social dynamics in real time. Then there's the number one habit. You see patterns everywhere. Repetitions in behavior, cycles in events, sequences that just don't feel random. While everyone else seems to be shrugging it off as noise, you see the underlying structure. This is one of the strongest markers of high intelligence. Your brain isn't just imagining things. It's exceptionally sensitive to subtle signals, constantly comparing inputs and building internal models of how the world works. That ability compounds over time, helping you anticipate outcomes and understand complex systems faster than most. So if any of this sounds familiar, the quick sarcastic remark, the constant pattern spotting, maybe a mind that never shuts off, here's the takeaway. High intelligence doesn't always look impressive. It often shows up as quirks society might label as odd, but an intelligent brain is rarely quiet. It's always analyzing, connecting, simulating. That process can look messy from the outside, but under the surface, it's powerful. Intelligence isn't about fitting in.
It's about how your mind understands the world. And the very traits we're sometimes told to suppress are often the ones that give us our edge. Now, I'm curious, which of these habits did you recognize in yourself? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more insights into how the mind really works, consider subscribing. There's a lot more to uncover.